Signalborn. Chapter 1, 3:17 p.m. Riley Mercer had a theory about high school chemistry. It was not a good theory. It was not a useful theory. It was definitely not a theory that would help her pass Mr. Holloway's third-quarter exam. But it was still a theory, and as far as Riley was concerned, that counted for something. Her theory was simple. Chemistry was just tiny invisible things ruining each other's lives. Atoms wanted electrons. Electrons wanted different atoms. Everything bonded, broke apart, stole charges, released energy, absorbed energy, dissolved, combusted, or exploded. Tiny violence. That was chemistry. Unfortunately, Mr. Holloway did not accept tiny violence as an answer on quizzes, which Riley considered a failure of imagination. She sat in the back row of room 214, spinning a pencil between her fingers while the afternoon sun leaked through the blinds in long yellow stripes. One stripe fell across her notebook. Another cut directly across the left side of her face. It made the classroom feel warmer than it was. Or maybe that was just because the air conditioner had been making a dying, rattling sound for 3 days, and nobody in administration seemed concerned. Riley had reported it twice. The first time, the secretary told her maintenance already knew. The second time, the secretary told her, "Thank you, Riley," in the exact tone adults used when they were not thankful at all. So now Riley considered the air conditioner a character in her life. A tragic one. Possibly haunted. At the front of the room, Mr. Holloway wrote a chemical equation on the board. Who can tell me what happens when sodium loses an electron? Nobody moved. Nobody breathed. Nobody wanted to make eye contact. Riley kept spinning her pencil. Mr. Holloway turned slowly. His eyes found her immediately. Riley stopped spinning the pencil. "No," she said. Several students laughed. Mr. Holloway raised an eyebrow. "I did not ask yet." "You looked at me in a question-shaped way." "I looked at the class." "You looked at me with academic violence." More laughter. Mr. Holloway sighed, but Riley caught the corner of his mouth twitching. "Fine, since you volunteered." "I very specifically did not." "What charge does sodium have after losing one electron?" Riley leaned back in her chair. "Emotionally." The room cracked up. Someone too rose over whispered, "That's valid." Mr. Holloway pinched the bridge of his nose. "Chemically, Riley." "Oh, +1." The laughter quieted. Mr. Holloway paused. Riley smiled. "What? I contain multitudes." "Miracles do happen," he said, turning back to the board. Riley placed a dramatic hand over her heart. "I'm touched by your faith." "I have no faith. I have evidence, very limited evidence." That earned another laugh. Riley liked Mr. Holloway. Not because she liked chemistry. She did not. But Mr. Holloway treated students like they had brains, which was more than she could say for some teachers. He also tolerated her commentary as long as she eventually gave the right answer. Most of the time. Sometimes. Occasionally. Her phone buzzed in her hoodie pocket. Riley glanced toward the front of the room. Mr. Holloway had returned to explaining electron transfer. Excellent. She slid her phone out beneath the desk. "Dad, picking up dinner after work. Anything specific?" Riley smiled. Her dad always asked that like they were a normal family with normal dinner planning. They were not. Her dad's cooking had 2 settings, edible and legally concerning. Last month he had made something he called experimental tacos, which Riley still believed qualified as a minor crime. She typed back, "Riley, surprise me." 3 dots appeared. "Dad, dangerous answer." "Riley, I fear nothing." The dots vanished. Returned. Vanished again. Then, "Dad, meatloaf." Riley physically recoiled. A girl beside her, Tessa Bryant, glanced over. You okay? Riley stared at the screen. I just saw my future, and it's gray. Tessa blinked. What? Nothing. Riley typed quickly. Riley, I take it back. She hit send. Nothing happened. No delivered checkmark. No little whoosh. No error message. Just her text, sitting there like it had regrets. Riley frowned. She lifted the phone slightly. No bars. That was weird. Not impossible, because the school had the wireless infrastructure of a cave, but still weird. She tilted it left. Right. Held it higher under the desk. Still nothing. Then the battery icon blinked. Once. Twice. The screen went black. Riley stared at it. You dramatic little rectangle. Tessa looked over again. Your phone died. It betrayed me. My phone's acting weird too. Riley looked up. Across the room, another student tapped his screen. Mine froze. Wi-Fi's down. My Chromebook just shut off. At the front, the smartboard flickered. Mr. Holloway stopped mid-sentence. The fluorescent lights hummed louder. The dying air conditioner gave one final rattle. Then stopped. The room went quiet. Not regular quiet. Not classroom quiet. A heavy quiet. Like the building had taken a breath and decided not to let it out. Riley sat up. Outside the window, the traffic light at the intersection beyond the student parking lot went dark. Cars slowed. One horn blared. The digital clock above the classroom door blinked. 3:17. Then it died. Every screen in the room turned black. Phones. Laptops. The smartboard. The projector. Even the little calculator on Mr. Holloway's desk. For 1 second, nothing happened. Then every screen lit up at once. White letters appeared against black. Large. Plain. Impossible. Signal DT. Riley stared. The words did not flicker. They did not glitch. They stayed there. Perfect. Still. Her skin prickled. The air pressure changed. She felt it in her ears. In her teeth. In the bones of her hands. For one strange second, the classroom looked different. Not changed. Not exactly. More like something underneath. It had become visible. Lines of pale light ran through the walls. Through the floor. Through the desks. Through people. Thin glowing threads connected everything. Some pulsed faintly. Some snapped in and out. Some stretched far beyond the classroom, beyond the school, beyond anything Riley could see. Her breath caught. The lines bent toward her. Not all of them. Enough. A thread of white light shimmered from the smartboard to her phone. Another from the ceiling, lights to the floor. Another from Tessa's laptop to Riley's hand. Riley tried to move. Couldn't. The room vanished behind a veil of static. A sound filled her head. Not a voice. Not music. A frequency. High and low at the same time. Painful, but somehow familiar. Then the screens changed. Signal confirmed. Below it, another line appeared. Initial contact, accepted. Riley's stomach dropped. Accepted. By who? Then, everything snapped back. The lights returned. The air conditioner coughed back to life. The smartboard displayed Mr. Holloway's chemical equation again. Phones chimed. Laptops rebooted. Traffic moved outside. Noise rushed into the room all at once. Students shifted in chairs. Someone laughed. Mr. Holloway blinked, marker still in his hand. Then he turned back to the board. So, as I was saying, when sodium loses an electron. Riley stared at him. No. Absolutely not. No way. Her hand rose slowly. Mr. Holloway turned. Yes, Riley. She looked around the classroom. Nobody looked scared. Nobody looked confused. Nobody looked like reality had just peeled open and shown its wiring. Tessa was doodling stars in the margin of her notes. A guy in the front row checked his phone. Someone yawned. Riley swallowed. Did nobody just see that? Mr. Holloway frowned. See what? The screens. Blank faces turned toward her. The lights went out. No reaction. The message. A boy near the windows snorted. What message? Riley looked at Tessa. Tessa looked genuinely confused. What are you talking about? Riley forced a laugh. A bad laugh. A terrible laugh. Nothing, sorry, brain buffering. A few people chuckled. Mr. Holloway studied her for a second. Are you feeling all right? No. Absolutely not. I'm fine. You sure? Yep, peak condition, very normal, nothing to report. That got another laugh. Mr. Holloway didn't look convinced, but he moved on. Riley lowered her hand. Her heart was pounding now. Too fast. Too loud. She stared at her phone. The screen was on again. Her message to her dad still had not sent. But something else sat at the bottom of the display. Tiny white letters. So faint she almost missed them. Signal active. Riley stopped breathing. The letters remained. She blinked. They did not disappear. Underneath, another line faded into view. Synchronization, 0.01%. Riley's mouth went dry. No. No, no, no. She pressed the power button. The screen went black. For half a second, relief loosened her shoulders. Then the words appeared again. White text on black glass. Signal active. Synchronization, 0.02%. Riley shoved the phone face down on her desk. Too hard. Tessa glanced over. You good? Phone drama. Same. No. Not same. Very much not same. Riley forced herself to breathe. In. Out. Normal. Be normal. Maybe this was a prank. A virus. A weird school-wide emergency test. A gas leak. Okay, maybe not gas leak. Gas leak was not better. Maybe she had imagined it. Except the phone still felt warm under her palm. Too warm. The classroom lights flickered. Once. Riley froze. They flickered again. A low hum filled the room. The same hum from before. Mr. Holloway stopped talking. Students looked up. Riley slowly lifted her hand from the phone. The hum stopped. The lights steadied. Silence. Then someone laughed nervously. This building is trash. Tell me about it, Mr. Holloway muttered. The class moved on. Riley did not. She stared at her hand. Then at the phone. Then at the lights. Her brain started trying to build a list. That was what Riley did when panic threatened to take over. Lists made things manageable. List item 1. Everyone's screens had displayed signal DETCTED. List item 2. No one remembered it. List item 3. Riley remembered it. List item 4. Riley's phone was now haunted. List item 5. Lights might be reacting to her touching said haunted phone. List item 6. She was either losing her mind or something impossible was happening. Neither option felt marketable. The bell rang. Everyone jumped slightly. Chairs scraped against tile. Students packed bags, shoved phones into pockets, and rushed for the door like freedom was a limited-time offer. Riley moved slower. Her legs felt strange. Not weak. Buzzing. Like she had been standing too close to a speaker. Tessa slung her backpack over one shoulder. You coming? In a second. You sure? Yeah. Tessa hesitated. You really look pale. Riley smiled. Thank you, that's the ghost ancestry. Tessa rolled her eyes. You're weird. Brand consistency. Tessa left. Riley waited until most of the class emptied. Mr. Holloway erased the board. Riley picked up her phone carefully, like it might bite. The screen was normal now. Lock screen. Time. Notifications. No message. No signal. She exhaled. Maybe. The screen flickered. Synchronization. 0.03%. The classroom lights exploded. Not flickered. Exploded. Glass burst overhead with a violent pop. Students in the hallway screamed. Mr. Holloway shouted and threw an arm over his face. Riley ducked under her desk as shards rained across the floor. Her ears rang. Dust drifted through the air. The emergency lights kicked on, bathing the classroom in red. For a second, nobody moved. Then voices erupted outside. What was that? Is everyone okay? Don't go in there. Mr. Holloway rushed toward Riley. Riley, are you hurt? She looked down. A thin line of blood ran across the back of her hand, where a piece of glass had nicked her skin. I'm okay. Her voice sounded far away. Mr. Holloway crouched beside her. Stay down. Riley nodded, but her eyes had locked onto her phone. It lay a few inches away on the floor. Screen glowing. The words had changed. Signal surge, DT-CTD. Synchronization, 0.04%. Below that, foreign signal approaching. Riley stared. Her pulse thundered. A new line appeared. Distance, 41 meters. The number changed. 39 meters. Then, 36 meters. Someone was coming. Riley looked toward the classroom door. The hallway beyond was crowded with students and teachers. Emergency lights flashed red across frightened faces. Nobody looked unusual. Nobody looked like a foreign signal, whatever that meant. The number changed again. 31 meters. Her breathing sped up. 28 meters. Mr. Holloway was still talking, but Riley couldn't hear the words anymore. The sound in her ears had returned. That impossible frequency. High and low. Close and far. 22 meters. Riley slowly stood. Mr. Holloway frowned. Riley, stay down. She didn't. She stepped over broken glass. Into the hallway. Students crowded the corridor. Teachers tried to control the flow. Someone was crying. Someone else was filming. Riley's phone vibrated in her hand. 18 meters. She turned toward the far end of the hall. A figure stood near the stairwell doors. Tall. Black hoodie. Hands in pockets. Face hidden beneath the hood. Perfectly still. Too still. Students moved around them, like water around a stone. Nobody seemed to notice. Riley's mouth went dry. The phone vibrated again. 12 meters. The figure lifted its head. Even from across the hallway, Riley knew. It was looking directly at her. The screen flashed. Warning. Run. Riley took one step back. The figure smiled. She could not see its face. But somehow, she knew it smiled. Then every emergency light in the hallway turned black. And a voice whispered directly beside her ear. Found you.